My brother found out on a Wednesday. Not from me. From a neighbor who asked him how Mom was settling in, and he had to stand there on the phone and pretend he knew what she was talking about. I need you to understand something before I tell you the rest. I'm not someone who makes decisions carelessly. I've spent most of my adult life being the one who thinks things through, who weighs every angle, who calls to check in, who shows up. That's who I was in this family. The responsible one. The one everyone leaned on when things got complicated. Mom's name is Dolers. She's 78. She has the early stages of vascular dementia, not severe, not yet, but enough that you notice. Enough that she leaves the stove on. Enough that she called me 3 times one night thinking I was someone named Patricia, who, as far as any of us can tell, has never existed. She lived in the house where my brother Marcus and I grew up. About 40 minutes from me, nearly 2 hours from him. He's in a different state. Has been for 15 years. His wife's family is there, his kids are in school there, his whole life is there. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. I'm just telling you the geography because the geography matters. For the past 3 years, I've been the one handling it. Doctor's appointments me. Grocery runs me. The Tuesday afternoon calls when she's confused and scared and needs a voice she recognizes me. I don't say this to collect sympathy. I say it because by the time I made the decision I made, I had been doing this alone for so long that somewhere along the way I stopped thinking of it as a shared problem. It had become mine, and I suppose that's where everything started to unravel. Marcus would call. He'd ask how she was, and I'd say fine, or I'd say she had a rough week, and he'd say let me know if you need anything, and that would be that. I believed him when he said it. I don't think he was lying. I just think neither of us understood what needing something actually looked like until it was too late to ask for it gracefully. The facility is called Meadow Crest. It's about 12 minutes from my house. I visited it 4 times before I made any decision. I brought her once, under the pretense of dropping off a donation, just to watch how she reacted to the space, to the people, to the light in the common room. She liked it. She said the chairs looked comfortable. She asked if we could have lunch there sometime. That moment felt like permission. I know now that it wasn't. I didn't tell Marcus because I knew what he would say. He would say we needed to discuss it. He would say there were other options. He would say Mom wouldn't want this. And he would say it with the full authority of someone who hadn't been in that house on a Tuesday night watching her stand in front of the open refrigerator for 20 minutes. Not sure what she was looking for. Not sure she was cold. So I made the call. I signed the paperwork. I arranged the move on a Thursday in October, a bright day, cool but not cold. I packed her things in the bags she liked, the plaid ones from the closet. I told her we were going somewhere nice. She asked if she needed to bring a coat. I said yes. She brought one. She settled in better than I expected. The staff there, they're good people. They learned her name quickly. One of the aides found out she likes word puzzles and started leaving them on her tray at breakfast. When I visit, she seems calm. Oriented mostly. Sometimes she asks about the house, asks when she's going home, and I tell her she's resting for a while. I don't know if that's mercy or cowardice. Probably both. Marcus found out 12 days later. I hadn't called him. I kept meaning to. I would pick up the phone, rehearse what I'd say, and then put it down again. I was waiting for the right moment, which is another way of saying I was waiting for the courage I didn't have. When he finally reached me, his voice was flat, not loud. That's how I knew it was serious. Marcus yells when he's frustrated, but when he's genuinely hurt, he goes quiet. He said, "You made that decision without me." I said yes. He said, "She's our mother." I said, "I know." He said, "How could you not tell me?" And I didn't have a good answer. I had a true one, that I'd been carrying this alone, that I was drowning, that I was terrified of losing her piece by piece in that house, with no one to help me hold the pieces. But a true answer isn't always a good one. He came to visit her the following weekend. I wasn't there when he did it. He didn't ask me to be, and I thought that was probably fair. He called me after, and his voice was different, still hurt, still something I couldn't name, but a fraction softer. He said she seemed okay. He said she smiled when she saw him. He said the aide brought her a word puzzle while he was there, and she did most of it without help. Then he was quiet for a long moment, and he said, "You should have told me, Claire." And I said, "I know." Because I did know. I knew it when I signed the papers. I knew it the night before the move when I sat in her kitchen for the last time, her kitchen, the one with the yellow curtains she'd had since the 80s. And I just sat there in the dark, not crying exactly, just sitting with how permanent everything was about to become. I knew it wasn't my decision alone to make. I made it anyway. And I would be lying to you if I sat here and told you that I'm certain I was wrong. Mom is safe. She is warm and she is fed, and someone leaves word puzzles on her tray in the morning. Marcus is barely speaking to me. My aunt hasn't returned my calls in 3 weeks. And the house is sitting empty with yellow curtains and a stove that nobody's leaving on anymore. I don't know what the right answer was. I only know what I did and what it cost, and that some mornings I wake up and think I'd do it again. And that scares me more than anything else about this whole story. She's safe. That's what I come back to. That's what I hold on to on the nights when I replay the phone call with Marcus and hear that quiet in his voice. She is safe, and she is warm, and someone knows her name. But I took a choice away from people who had a right to it. I decided I knew better. Maybe I did. Maybe knowing better is exactly the problem. What would you have done?